We've got, oh, great idea, Tom. We've got 38 folks on the line. Christopher is going to start adding the candidates to be panelists tonight. So first, and we're recording. Great. Everything's coming up. Brigades. So welcome. We're so excited you're here tonight. This is the National Advisory Council Candidate Forum. You're going to hear from a number of your peers who are running to be part of the National Advisory Council. As you know, this is the second year of the council existing. We have a huge number of candidates. We have 30 candidates running for 9 seats, so it is very competitive. So we wanted to save this time for folks to just be able to get to know their candidates more. Sometimes it's hard if you can't travel or if you haven't met folks in person. So this is your chance to get to know them. As I said in a variety of posts, I'm really excited about all the infrastructure work that the current NAC has done, and I'm really excited for the next NAC, laying out an ambitious vision of the future, and the people who will do it are here today. To quickly review today's agenda, which is in the document that we put in the chat. This is the welcome. I hope it's everything you hoped it would be and more. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to quickly go around to the candidates, and we're going to have you guys do your own introductions. We want to keep them really short because there are so many of you, so please only share your name, what you're running for, so at-large and Midwest Regional. We also really want you to name your favorite brigade project, but from a different brigade. So please do that. And we're going to go really quick. Are you visible? So I'm going to do a quick demo. So while you're doing the introductions and also while you're answering questions, we are going to have a timekeeping goal of having folks take 30 seconds or less. I can't see your screen, Tom, sadly. Tom is going to be our timekeeper, and what he's going to do is tell us when we have, oh, yes, you can folks see Tom? Give me a thumbs up if you can see. He's got a little heart. So he's going to tell you if you've got tons of time, you're almost out of time, or you are out of time and you must stop talking. So keep your eye on his screen to keep an eye on where you are. After that, we're going to have Luigi, a current NAC member who's timing out of the NAC, who is going to select the questions from the community and pose them to the candidates. When you're submitting questions, because there are so many candidates, we're going to have you only ask one region at a time. So you might only ask the West region where Luke Skywalker is. I am not a Star Wars, so I don't super understand all of it. But so when you pose a question, you can choose a region, or you can have Luigi choose a region. It's fine. Any questions before we get started?
The order of introduction should be how they appear on this list. So it'd be start with Neil, then go to West, then South, then Northeast, and blah, 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 blah.
Yes. So we're going to try and do the introductions really rapid fire. West, you're up first, starting with Neil.
I think there's only one Neil here. Hi, everybody. It's great to see some familiar faces and nice to see some new ones. I chose to be an at-large and regional candidate. I'm in Oakland, California. Let's see, what else? Yeah, my favorite service app that I've seen so far, and I've seen a bunch, is CourtBot, a tool that just helps manage court dates, fines, how to contend, et cetera, et cetera. So that's what I have to share tonight.
All right, Taylor, you're up.
You're muted.
And I am, can you hear me?
You should start over. I just unmuted you. Continue.
Sorry. My name's Taylor Smith. I am from Phoenix, Arizona. I'm the brigade captain here. I'm running for West Regional Representative as well as at large. And my favorite project, I'm actually going to cheat a little bit, is from Code for Kenya. And it's one that helps citizens look for the best doctors in their area. It's a health tool, and it's actually called Health Tools. I know it's outside of America, but I was just there, so. Great.
Wonderful. And the next person up is Nina. And you can tell if you're up by looking at the Google Doc. Nina, are you on the line? All right. Next up is Brendan Babb.
Hi, my name is Brendan Babb. I'm running for at-large and West. And the favorite service I've seen kind of is Code for America's Balance, because it really inspired a lot of the work we did in Code for Anchorage in terms of being able to check your snap balance using text messages. And we've worked on when to plug in your car. We've used a ton of stuff with text messages. And CourtBot, our brigade will eventually launch, and I'm very excited about it. Thanks.
Wonderful. Next is Vincent. All right. Next up is Aaron Borden. Okay. Next up. Oh, is Aaron on here? 1 second. Are you are you a panelist, Aaron?
Try now.
Hi. Hey, sorry about that. So I'm Aaron. I'm in Oakland, California, and I've used to be in San Francisco, and so have been with the San Francisco Brigade since 2014. And my first project is with Jesse, who's running for an at-large seat. And so now I'm in Oakland with Open Oakland, and throughout all that time, I've been looking at campaign finance in San Francisco, Oakland, and California as a whole. I'm interested in getting more folks engaged and involved with the brigades, and seeing how we can make that more effective.
Great, thank you. Alina, you're up next.
Okay, can you guys hear me? Great. Hi, everyone. My name is Alina Rubalak. I am running for at-large and the Western region. I'm with Open Oakland, and I've been a volunteer with Open Oakland since 2014. And favorite brigade project, actually, it's one that I've discovered recently. I think it's really interesting. It's the Unincarcerated, a documentary project that Philly's working on. Nice job, Philly.
Love it. Rami, you're up. And Carlos, you're on deck. And for folks who are listening, and now's a good time to add questions. Right now, it's just me and Veronica.
Western region. My favorite CFA project is actually right across the bay. But of course, it's forked over from Code for Atlanta, and SF is now doing the Fire Risk Project. And I'm trying to coax folks from SF to come work with us so we can work with Oakland data. Yes. Thank you.
Awesome. Carlos, you're up, and Edison, you're next.
Hi, I'm Carlos Moreno. I lead the Tulsa Brigade with Brittany Bruanger, and I've been a volunteer with Code for Tulsa since 2012, and we kind of started doing civic tech work a couple years before that, so we're kind of one of the originals. I am running for at-large and South Region. Favorite brigade project, shout out to Code for Anchorage for Click That Hood. I'm not sure if you guys originated it, but you guys have done some amazing work with Click That Hood, and we'll probably be forking it to a Tulsa neighborhood here sometime soon.
Great. Edison, you're up. All right. Patrick, you're up, and Julie, you're on deck. All right. Julie, you're up. Mateo, you're on deck. Julie, I know I saw you in here somewhere. All right. Mateo, you're up.
Hey, y'all. Mateo Clark here in Austin. I'm running for South and at large. I guess my favorite project kind of recently in this last year was seeing what Sketch City in Houston was doing with Harvey disaster relief. And really what was powerful about that project that I think is really important is seeing how that work laid the groundwork for other brigades to fork that work with Maria.
Wonderful. Carl, you're up, and Laura, you're on deck.
Hi there. Can you guys hear me? Okay, sorry, I've had some mic issues. The questions were, can you repeat to me again? The
question is what you're running for,
okay,
and your favorite brigade project.
Okay, so I'm running for, I'm an overachiever, so I'm obviously running for both at large and Southern Region. I'm the brigade captain of Tavano. And favorite brigade project, it would definitely be one that was done with a big diversity of different residents. So I'd have to say, even though it may not be the most impactful project in the world, I'd probably have to say a project that we did that took.
It cannot be a project from your own brigade.
Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize.
I didn't make that clear. And also, Vincent, you're actually on deck since we skipped you.
Yeah.
Go, Carl.
Oh, he's on deck. Okay.
Favorite brigade project that you guys did not do?
That we did not do. Okay. I have been really impressed with Client Com. Well, that's not a brigade project though, so it's a network project.
All right, we are out of time, and your
okay, yep,
your next answer, feel free to add that in. Vincent, you're up.
Code for San Francisco, running for West. So I'm one of the co-leads of the data science working group at Code for San Francisco. I guess my favorite project, I learned about it, heard about it through the Brigade Congress, but I think it's a renters' rights website. I think San Jose actually did it, if I'm not mistaken. But I thought it was really cool. Explained a lot of important stuff and accessible to the public and all that. Yeah.
Wonderful. Laura, you're up.
Hi, I'm Laura. I am a brigade captain in Code for Durham, and I work with the City of Durham. I'm a community engagement coordinator. I'm running for the South Region and at large. My favorite project that I can think of off the top of my head is Adopt a Drain from San Francisco. We are trying to launch that locally in Durham, and I coordinated a call between Durham and San Francisco staff, and to hear about the impact that app has had, that over 1,000 people have signed up to clean their storm drains. And it also has led to a lot of offline interactions, including government employees feeling more appreciated by the residents.
Great. Victoria, you're up, and Isaiah, you're on deck.
Wait, is it started? Okay. Hey, everyone. My name is Victoria Odell, and I am brigade captain for Open Austin, or co-captain, actually. And I'm running for at-large and the South Region. The project that I really like from the brigades is the permitting journey map done by Code for Florida. I learned about it at Brigade Congress, and I really think more projects like that need to be championed in our brigade programs.
It's my turn? Okay, I'm Zay. I'm the brigade captain and president for Code for Newark. I'm running for the Northeast region, and while I biasly, admittingly have a bromance with both the city of Philadelphia and Code for Philly, and love their partnership with local hosts, I would say one of my favorite projects, although I'm pretty sure it's been shelved, is Brigade Hub. I think allowing brigades to swiftly, get up and running, connect with their constituents is immensely helpful.
Great. Emma, you're up, and Dawn, you're on deck.
Hey, I'm Emma from Portland, Maine, Code for Maine. I'm running for Northeast and the at-large. I think a lot of us have the same strategy with running for at-large. My favorite project, throwback to Adopt a Hydrant back in the day. I've used that as an example when I tell people how or what civic tech is and what civic hacking is. Really, that project is, especially in Maine, for impact and all of that, people can wrap their heads around what we're actually trying to do by using it as an example.
Great. Dawn, you're up, and Noel, you're on deck.
Hi, everyone. I'm Dawn McDougall. I'm representing Philadelphia. And thanks for the compliments. Also, it's just really good to see so many people from Congress. This is really awesome. So I will not be mad by losing to anyone. This is pretty great. I guess I'm running for both positions, and my favorite civic tech project, I'm going to name two, sorry to break the rules, and I'm also going to not name a software project because I think civic tech is not just software. Number one is from Noel, actually from Beta NYC. Their civic fellowships are incredible. I think the way that they're building literacy on both the civic and digital side is incredible. And then actually another project or asset that came out of Austin, which is the like a business canvas for civic tech projects. I think that's incredibly important for scaling and creating sustainability for civic tech projects. So those are my favorite two, and I'm really excited to be here.
Awesome, thanks. Noel? All right, let's go to Matt, and then Margot's on deck.
Thanks, Yuri. Thanks everyone at Code for America for hosting this opportunity. I'm really excited to see all the candidates running. I'm Matt Zagaya. I am on the leadership at Code for Boston, and I am running for the Northeast seat along with an at-large seat. And so as far as my favorite brigade project from a brigade that's not my own, I would have to, after having many good options stolen from me, go with Code for DC and the Housing Insights Project. I think it was a great example of something that was a coordination between folks working sort of full-time on it, along with a volunteer group and that coordination, and I definitely enjoyed learning a lot about it. So thanks.
Great, Margot. And then Janet, you're on deck.
Hi, I'm Margot. I'm running for, I'm from Louisville, Kentucky. Civic Data Alliance is the brigade in Louisville. I'm running for a Midwest seat and one of the open seats. My favorite brigade project, and the one that's actually been the most helpful to us very recently since we've been working on governance docs and stuff like that, is the Open Leadership Training Project from Code for Savannah. That has been, it's like best practices for working open and core leadership training. It has been super helpful for us y'all. So thank you.
Blessing.
That's awesome. All right, Janet, you're up, and Nehemiah, you're on deck. All right, Nehemiah, you're up, and Christie, you're on deck. All right, Christie, you are up, and Jason, you're on deck.
Oh. Okay. Hi, I'm Christie Leach. I'm running for at-large and Midwest, and I am in Chicago. And we just had a group here in Chicago join as a brigade last week, Uptown Codes. So I'm running with them, and I've been working with them, and I've also been active at Shy Hack Night. So, you know, I'm really partial to, it makes me happy to see brigades able to share work and redeploy something. Whenever any project that gets to do that is heartwarming, and I'm partial to text-based apps. So Carl started to talk about Client Com. That, and I'm more familiar with the Safety and Justice Project, so maybe I'll talk a little bit more about that. ClientCom is a text-based app that lets caseworkers talk with folks in text rather than having to wait for things to come in the mail or to just communicate over email.
Great. Jason, you're up, and Eric, you're on deck.
Hi, everyone. Great to see so many familiar faces. I'm Jason Hibbets. I'm with the Open Raleigh Brigade, formerly known as Code for Raleigh. And I really admire the CityGram project from Charlotte. I think one of the first successful Code for America fellowships to actually be successfully handed off to a brigade. So congrats to our friends in Charlotte.
Wonderful. Eric Jackson and Jill, you're on deck. All right. Jill, you're up, and Chris Alfano, you're on deck.
Hey
everyone. Thanks, Hibbets. So I'm Jill, and I'm one of the co-captains in Charlotte and one of your current NAC members. I'm running for at-large because I've already served a year and a half. So, but there's still some things I want to do and finish. So there's that. And I'm currently obsessed with CourtBot and NYC's fellowship project. So I stalk both of those updates frequently.
Wonderful. Yeah, Chris Alfano, and then Jesse, you're going to close this out.
Hey everyone, I'm Chris Alfano. I'm one of the founders of Code for Philly, a current NAC member, and I was part of the first class of brigade captains along with Lloyd or Noel, and it looks like we're the last one standing. I'm running for a second year in the at-large seat. My favorite brigade project is Code for Baltimore's mini hack challenges. They aim to provide an easy getting started assignment and learning path for new members and aspiring civic hackers, and it really helps brigade leaders get new people on board.
Great, Jesse.
Hey folks, I'm Jesse Brosak. I'm a current member of Code for Boston. I'm a former captain of Code for San Francisco. I'm running for at-large only. I'm not running for anything else. I don't think I can represent any one region very well, but I think I can talk for everything and talk to a lot of people. And my favorite brigade project is a sort of brigade outspin. It's Expungio. Not sucking up to you, Christopher, but that project is pretty baller. I love how it helps people who can't help themselves most of the time. So people under 18.
Great. And I also noticed that Eric Jackson is here, so we're going to go back to him. And then I think that's everybody who's here. So Eric, you will close us out. We are both trying to unmute him. You should be set now, Eric.
Okay. So I'm Eric Jackson. I'm the captain of Code for Asheville, North Carolina. I'm running just for the at-large seat. And as far as favorite non-Code for Asheville Brigade project, I think it would probably be an older project from Code for Durham. It's the Open Data Policing project that has since extended into into Maryland and other states. But what's exciting about that is that we and several other communities have now leveraged that to start conversations with police departments locally about racial disparities in traffic stops. And so it's exciting to see a project go out and start to impact other communities, not just the one where it was started.
Great. And with that, that concludes our candidate introductions. Thank you all for being timely. I want to quickly remind you that we are going to try and keep it to 30 seconds. I'm going to do more interrupting. And Luigi, take it away. Oh, and actually, one last thing. Please submit questions for the candidates. Candidates, feel free to submit questions. We can't hear you, Luigi.
Can you hear me now? Cool. So hey everyone, I'm Luigi from Code for Atlanta. I have been serving on the NAC for this first term, and I recently joined the staff at Code for America, so I will be no longer on the NAC, and I will not be running anymore. We have a bunch of questions for you all. It is great to see all your faces. When I saw the list of candidates earlier today, my heart swelled. It's so awesome to see so many people step up. So I will start. I will take moderator's privilege and choose a question from my co-organizer in Atlanta, Sean Taylor, asks for the at-large candidates, and we'll start with at-large as our first quote-unquote region. In your opinion, what's the most important thing that the current NAC has done so far, and what's your most important focus for the next year? And let's start just with the at-large list. So Jason.
All right. Well, I think the first thing the current NAC did this past year was to listen to the what's happening, where brigades are, and understand where they want to go. From that, one of the things I'm really passionate about are brigade action teams, and you'll see some updates coming out soon on that. It's basically looking for a way to foster collaboration between brigades. And I think that's something that we can be really successful here in 2018.
Awesome. Eric. Are you there, Eric? I have to unmute. Nope, can't hear you. Okay, we'll come back to you, Eric. Jill.
Hey. So besides Jason always takes the good answers, I think the other important thing that we did was set up a way to have, equitable elections. While I think this process has some things that need to be tweaked and improved, if you know that the original one, there was 11 people who ran for 9 seats. We have 33 running for 9 seats this time. So that's amazing. So that makes me really excited.
Awesome. Chris Alfano from Philly.
I think one of the most important things we did this year that hasn't been mentioned yet is bringing all the brigades together for the Brigade Congress. For years now, we've met in the shadows of the summit and really always clamored for our own space to come together and spend a whole weekend figuring out how we're going to work together nationally. So that was amazing. I'm so glad that everyone came to Philly and hung out with us. The big thing I'm really passionate about is establishing a civic cloud built on free software. I think it's really important that redeploying applications other brigades have built is easy and takes merely an intent. I think keeping things online needs to not rely on some brigades members' credit card staying on file. And I think we can't rely on the handouts and goodwill of tech startups and internet behemoths.
Awesome. Thanks, Chris. And last but not least, Jesse.
Hello. So most important thing the NAC did so far, in my opinion, was providing structure for this process. I think if you're going to supervise or represent a whole community of people, then doing nothing other than like gathering them together and bringing them into this is an amazing thing. What I would do in the next year is basically document best practices and knowledge sharing among the brigades. I think that we have so much knowledge that we can share and we don't. So that's what I would prioritize.
Awesome. Thank you all. I see a lot of questions around sort of collaboration and connection. So I'm going to take Jen's question, and the middle part of Jen's question is, what are the most important things to connect the brigades around? And so I think that's a really good bit. I'm gonna do some Google Docs foo here. I'm gonna bold just that one part. So what are the most important things to connect the brigades around? And let's go with the Midwest for this answer. So I'll give everyone a couple seconds. I'm going to start with Margot in a second to answer this. So we know there's this desire for connection, for collaboration amongst brigades. What do you think are the top 2 most important things that brigades should be tangibly connected around? So Margot, how about you start?
So I think probably the 2 most important things I think would be civic tech skills education and outreach with the community, and also diversity and inclusion in our brigades. Making sure that we have space for everybody, that and everybody feels welcome to come out, participate, and contribute. That's something that we've been really focusing on. Both of those things, actually. We've really been trying to hone in on those 2 areas in Louisville recently.
Cool.
Yeah. So those would be the most important in my view.
Awesome. Thanks, Margot. Up next is Janet on the line.
Give it a second. I just
there's Janet.
promoted her.
Hey, Janet.
Try again, Janet.
You have to unmute though. There you go.
Yeah, sorry I'm late. My day job is I work in an ER. So I just got home.
So we're doing Q&A, and we're asking questions of folks and of different candidates. So the question for you now around collaboration is, what are the most important things that you feel that brigades should be connected around?
I think if we can share some strategies that work in communities, whatever size they are. So collaborating both around issues and around strategies for getting to the data. That's not very clear, but that's my vision.
Cool. That's great. Naimea, are you on the line? I didn't see him earlier.
Yeah, I don't think Nehemiah joined.
Nehemiah. And Christie.
Yes, I think that it would be good to extend what happens at Brigade Congress and have it happen more regularly and have it happen remotely. If the NAC can support brigades and bringing them together regularly to talk about tactics that work for volunteer organizing, for specific issues that are common across brigades, and also for sharing project work. If we could be doing that more on the regular, that's the biggest benefit of having our network, right? I think another thing that it would be good to connect around is pulling resources. One thing that specifically comes to mind, we are talking in Chicago about how to bring some diversity and inclusion expertise to our group. And if we maybe could pull speaker funds or other types of resources, it would be good to be more organized around doing that.
Awesome. For our next group of questions, I'm going to choose a question from Jerry from San Diego. So this will be for the West, folks in the West region. Jerry asks, also related to this previous topic, what would you like to do in the area of knowledge exchange amongst brigades, and especially related to reducing the silo effect, the siloedness of some of our projects? So again, around collaboration, specifically around knowledge exchange amongst brigades and reducing the silo effect. So this is for the West region. We'll start with Neil from Oakland.
Okay. Well, Jill and Chris touched on it. The Brigade Action Teams 2017 started working on a shared knowledge base. I think just a common filing cabinet where we can all reach for documents depending on where we are in our evolution and kind of brigade life stages, I think is a really good project to work on. The other thing that I have found really useful, and it happens to me in Open Oakland and happens to me nationally, is just to convene some small group conversations to be able just to identify what's needed most and how urgent those things are. So just talking to a small group of people and identifying needs to me is critical, important way of building community and sharing knowledge.
Cool, thanks, Neil. Taylor, next.
Definitely. So we've laid the foundation, and I think that the unconference was just that. We got to network. Everybody kind of talked about what their brigades were doing, and personally, our brigade is less than 2 years old, but we're really large. We span across a lot of territory, and we have a great government partner, but we don't have the membership. And so what I found is that connecting with other brigades that are established, having those mentors is really what's going to help smaller brigades. So I personally would love to start and see the NAC start and flourish this mentorship program where you have seasoned brigades and non-seasoned brigades, or even if it's two unseasoned brigades that share a commonality in their government partner or interest, and they connect and they hold the brigade leaders as accountability partners, and they hold the brigades to this kind of collective standard where we are sharing ideas, we are growing together, but still working on things that are relative to our local communities.
Awesome. Was Nina on? Is Nina on yet? Nope. Cool. So Brendan from Anchorage.
Hi, a couple ideas that come to mind. We were lucky to work with Code for Tulsa on CourtBot. So focusing something around an actual project and making time to talk with another brigade. Another thing is a calendar, possibly of different topics, a Google shared doc, and maybe have a calendar for each week. And brigade, since we are in different time zones, could answer questions on the Google Doc, like what are fundraising techniques that have worked for you? And then to follow up in terms of the mentoring that Taylor mentioned, if there's two brigades that have done a project, if they could be available online and other people could ask them questions possibly in a 10-minute or 15-minute part of a hack night so that they could ramp up people. I'm really excited about the other networks, What Works Cities, Cities of Service, and also Sunlight Foundation coming up with a new open data census. I think it's going to be easy to identify what would be the next best city to do CourtBot or various other projects. And then you just need the excitement of the brigade and maybe a government partner, and I think things can spread really quick. I'm excited about all the potential.
Awesome. Vincent from San Francisco.
Yeah, hey, so I took away a lot of similar lessons as other people have talked about, and I took away a lot of, especially from the Brigade Congress that we attended a few months ago. And in meeting a lot of people there, I think there was a lot of interest that, you know, we all have, it's a fundamentally hard problem where we have like all local brigades working on problems that are specific to our community. Even within just like even within California, all the Code for America brigades within California, there's within our Slack channel, there's a talk between, I think a couple people even on this panel are involved in talking with this too, which is setting up like a broader Code for California meeting, whether that's like an in-person or I think it's going to start out as a video conference, but perhaps also escalating that to something like an in-person meeting where we can all just like interested participants can all get on board to talk about the projects and the problems they're facing within the community. But by having something structured in place, like a structured meeting in place, it just gives a little bit of like a format and a platform for people to kind of talk together without having to like reach out on their own individually.
Awesome.
Something else that's helped was
sorry, Vincent, you're at time.
Oh yes, yeah.
Want to keep it rolling. Up next is Aaron.
First, this is the best meeting I've ever been in, and sorry for missing that early intro from technical difficulties. I totally blew that. In terms of knowledge sharing, I think we first need to establish the communication channels. Like, it's unclear if we're communicating in Slack or an email list or wikis, GitHub. I find that there's a lot of word of mouth, and that totally doesn't work. Like, you shouldn't be in the know just because your brigade has someone on the NAC council. Like, you should be able to like reach out, get involved, and start a brigade in your own town, even if you're the only person.
Awesome. Alina from Oakland. Is Alina on? I thought she was on earlier.
Sorry, can you hear me now?
Yep, we can hear you.
Great. All right, thanks guys. So in regards to knowledge sharing, activities that the NAC can do, I think we can go beyond just shared documentations and maybe get to a place where we're offering a one-on-one mentorship to other brigades, maybe younger brigades, and offering guidance and lessons that we've already learned. Open Oakland is one of the more older, more established brigades. So I think this is actually something that we can do a lot of, where we can talk about driving and retaining mentorship, implementing pro-diversity practices, and beyond just code sharing, really aid in a lot of the organizational and structural support that is really hard when a new brigade first starts up.
Awesome.
Thanks.
And Rami from Oakland. You're muted, Rami.
Unmute. Okay, so a couple of things really quickly. It's very, very apparent that convening in Congress was an amazing experience. So we know the power of convening, and I'm going to push that, especially now in its formative years, from the NAC, that we should really meet in person, however that's going to look like. So if that means Oakland goes over to San Francisco comes over to us, I go down to LA, that's what it's going to take, I will do it. I mean, it's not always the most best thing, but when it comes to something like California, we can rally around policy and projects that are specific, and that would give structure to cohesion, and it'd be easier to rally around particular projects. And then with the knowledge sharing, specific to something like what Taylor was talking about, Open Oakland is now, has been touted by the executive director of the Public Ethics Commission, who goes around talking about this Open Oakland / PC model that they talk about, and other cities really dig it. And so being able to share this kind of model with other cities, especially something like Taylor City, that would be amazing. And so I think that's something that NAC members should take ownership over.
Awesome. Thank you, Remy, and thank you all for that. I believe that concludes the West. Yeah, I think that concludes the West. Yep. Up next, let's see. I'll ask Zay's question, even though he's running. I'll also ask his question. So this is for the Northeast, and this is very specific to the Northeast. How can we leverage the transit infrastructure of our region to further connect brigades along the coast, along the Northeast corridor, I think it's called. And since Zay asked, I'll go to him first. Zay, what's your answer?
I don't know if that's fair, but sure. I think just with being a Jersey kid and venturing into New York City, like for mischief, for play, for work, very accustomed to going places to get to know what's happening, make connections. That's actually how I know most of you guys. So I think both making, leveraging these experiences as I have with my professional life, both for work and for pleasure, is just like selfishly one way, so that I personally don't burn out. And then I actually am able to be effective because I'm enjoying it. And I think, just as a summation, showing that it's very easy to get around the Northeast and, make more friends and do good work.
Awesome. Up next from the Northeast, Emma from Maine.
Yeah, must be nice to have transit infrastructure, I would say. We're a little bit isolated, and I literally just had a 3-hour meeting today about getting a $500,000 bond passed in Maine to get a train running. And in terms of like how transit can help our cause, I think wherever we can leverage existing stuff, especially you mid-Atlantic lucky people in New York and elsewhere. I love what Rami said about just trying to push the in-person, because and you mentioned too, like burnout, like seeing people in person is the best way to combat that, I think. Virtual is great. I love seeing all your faces. I have no idea who I'm going to vote for because I have like 10 names written down on my notebook. So yeah.
Awesome. Dawn from Philly.
Yeah, I think that one thing that I've been thinking a lot about with the brigades is how we need to scale and how do we need to make this sustainable. And we can kind of brainstorm specific ways of how do we make that possible, whether it's virtual or in person. But I think the main thing is how do we build relationships with each other to sustain ourselves during our time, but then also how are we really translating those lessons that we're learning into something that's institutionalized. And I think we're kind of all saying the same thing because we're having some very similar experiences about taking what we've learned over years and really bringing that out to other people. And so I guess, for me, it's less about the how and more about the why behind it, and kind of focusing on some really core problems and trying to solve those really core problems as, a region or as people who can kind of tackle and bring numbers to it. but yeah, I do also appreciate, like, we are very lucky that we have a lot of transit. Like, I know that there are brigades that don't have that same luxury, and I'd like to figure out how we can bring them into the mix, because oftentimes the big brigades tend to overshadow in that very specific case.
Awesome. And Noel is not here, I believe, from New York. So let's go to Matt from Boston.
Oh, sorry, I was just unmuting. So yeah, I think the Northeast is fortunate to have some of the best transit, and I'm actually super excited to visit New York City in a couple weeks on Amtrak Acela. So New York City folks, send me your numbers. I'll look you up when I'm there. I really enjoy when folks from other cities visit Code for Boston to learn from us. I think it gives us the opportunity to see how other brigades are building sustainable communities, and to see how they work to involve people of all backgrounds in their projects, because I think our projects are better when they reflect these communities. And so I really want to see more of that.
Awesome. Cool. That's folks from the Northeast. And then I believe the last region is the South. As Andre 3000 said, the South has got something to say. So let's go with Emma from Maine's question, which is the third one down or so. How can the National Advisory Council help promote diversity and inclusion efforts at the brigade level, also at the national level, among the network? So yeah, diversity and inclusion. And this will be for the South. So let's start with Carlos from Tulsa.
There's a lot in that question, but I think we have done a pretty good job here in Tulsa at being inclusive. We talk about our code of conduct at every meeting, and I think we've been very intentional about reaching out to communities. So reaching out to local universities and trying to partner with Tulsa University, Langston University, Langston is a historically Black college, and kind of even going outside of our own, where we would normally think to talk to groups. A couple of weekends ago, I was visiting this place called Coffee Bunker, and it's just kind of a hangout for veterans. So I got to start talking to the guys who ran Coffee Bunker. Turns out one of them is taking a Python class. And so we kind of struck up a conversation and came up with the idea to do workshops there at the Coffee Bunker. So it's an idea that's really still in its infancy, but I think that the more that we can do to go outside of our own comfy collab co-working space and go out into the community and kind of be where people are, we're gonna find that there's some good partnerships and good collaborations there. So I'm looking forward to that.
Thank you, Carlos. Edison, was Edison on the line? Nope. Is Patrick from Savannah on the line? Nope. Julie from Miami. I thought I saw Julie earlier. Nope, maybe not. Mateo from Austin.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so I guess what I was thinking about in terms of this question, I think there's a lot around mentorship that's really important. You know, I look at the folks in our brigade that we've been able to like bring into leadership positions. I think I guess what I'm getting at is it's really great to reach out to communities and reach diverse groups. But I think you really hit next level whenever you're able to, you know, bring more women into leadership positions, and you bring more people of color into those same leadership positions. And then whenever a first-time brigade attendee shows up and they see someone that they can identify with, they're more likely to stay around. On the topic of like mentorship that I think Julie talked about earlier, I think there's a lot, like now that I work in the city of Austin, there's like affinity groups where there's like veterans, there's like a queer association where people that, you know, have the same kind of like, I guess political or whatever kind of affinity can kind of organize around things. I think maybe that's an area for us to think about with NAC.
Awesome. Up next is Carl from Savannah. Oh, we can't hear you, Carl. You might be muted.
There we go. Sorry, I'm having so much trouble today. Diversity and inclusion is an especially important question to ask for the South, just because of its history, and it's especially important for me and for us here, what we've done in Savannah. We started out with, less than about a year ago, and not a huge city. Didn't think there would be the capital here for what we've done, but there has been, because we, from the very beginning, had this mindset of looking to the margins of the community and to find, talent that we might not otherwise find. And in doing that, we've found so many people who would have never come out to, say, a Code for Savannah event that was a hack night to build a complex app. But they will come out to something that's low barrier, and they do, and then they get inspired and come back. So, yeah.
Thanks, Carl. Up next, Laura from Durham.
Hi. Yeah, it feels like a huge question. I'm just going to answer probably some questions first. What do we mean by diversity and inclusion? Is that a diverse set of skills? Or does that mean that the people in the room look diverse or their backgrounds are diverse? Probably all of them. And then brigade effort. So some people, I think Carlos talked about reaching out, from the beginning, reaching out all the way to, like Mateo was talking, leadership. So there are a lot of things going on. I think the first thing is always listening. It is going outside of our regular meeting space and listening. And probably whether it's non-tech communities or if it's communities that don't look like me, and just hearing what they view as problems in their world and having discussions and maybe figuring out how you can start to solve them. And the first thing probably that you're going to do isn't going to be an app. It's going to be really slow stuff that's about relationship building. But hopefully that'll bring people in the brigade that do want to be leaders and be on these calls one day.
Awesome. And Victoria from Austin.
Cool.
There you go.
Okay, so I'm going to say that it starts definitely with NAC showing up as a diverse crowd. If we want to attract diverse talent, then the council itself has to be diverse. Two, I'm going to say that we need to broaden our definition of tech and what a meaningful contribution is. People are saying things like low barrier, but I don't know if that's the right word for it. We need to think about how we're talking about technology and what it really takes to make good tech. Tech is an extension of us as humans. Who are we inviting to the conversation? How are we allowing them to get involved and feel like they're actually contributing? And I think that starts with us thinking like that and then having that go down throughout the brigades, and encouraging things like not just code of conduct, but meaningful first interactions with people who aren't techies.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Cool. I think we went through everyone. Eric, does your audio work yet? I remember that it didn't work earlier, and then so we went over you.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. And
my apologies for all of that. Comcast basically decided that I don't get internet tonight, so I'm on my phone.
Cool. So you can either answer that last question about diversity and inclusion.
Sure.
Or, yeah, go ahead.
I think that's an important one. So the way Code for Asheville has attacked that, we're really small. So we typically have 5 or 6 people at a hack night. And so the first thing we really needed to do was figure out how to be worth participating with. And the way we did that was we basically spent a year not having any Code for Asheville meetings. We simply went to other people's meetings.
Yeah.
And so, and what that led to, we have a really strong connection through our members with the homeless community, with the local Black Lives Matter and NAACP, and we're doing projects with them. So while at the moment Code for Asheville itself is still, 3 or 4 core people who are not the kind of diversity we really need. We are partnering with people and collaborating on projects so that, for me, our Code for Asheville members become much more part of the community. And it's also a way of making sure that we're bringing in, we're not worrying too much about the tech side of things. If we've got people who can bring the tech, and the members of the community that we're working with really bring the knowledge of the problems. In many ways, they bring the sustainability as well,
right,
because they can bring us in. And then the last thing is, this year we're focusing more on training. On making this more welcoming for newbie tech people, so that we're reaching out to more students and having the opportunity to kind of broaden who can participate on the tech side as well.
Great. Yeah, so thank you, everyone. I think we got everybody. If you're,
one
then,
last.
Yes.
Sorry.
Okay, go ahead, Erie.
Do the Janet.
Yes. So Janet, who came straight from the ER, could as ER worker, as someone who works at the ER, came in a little bit late. So I do want to give Janet a little opportunity to introduce herself to everyone on the call. So Janet, at the beginning, we just did quick intros. So if you can, please say where you're calling in from, which seats you're running for, and lastly, your favorite brigade project that's not from your brigade. You're muted.
I'm
cool.
Am I unmuted?
You're good.
Okay. I'm Janet Michaelis. I'm with Code for Dayton. I have a dog climbing on me right now. Off. And what were the questions?
Which seats?
Seats I'm running for Midwest and at large.
Great. And your favorite brigade project from the brigade that's not your own?
Clear my record.
Awesome.
Which we are trying to redeploy in Ohio.
Nice.
It's one of those things that's scales to all communities, and if we can solve it for our state, we can solve it for the whole state. So I'm really excited about redeploying, trying to redeploy that.
That's great. Cool. And with that, I believe Erie and Christopher have an announcement about the ballot.
Christopher,
yes.
you go away.
So the ballot is now live. You can now go to this link and that I posted both in the chat and the Slack. We also have just published the candidate guide. Thank you so much for everybody who got their edits in. I'll put the candidate guide in the Slack. Feel free to shoot that around. Voting is open from now till February 9th. What we'll do with this presentation is we recorded the video, we'll take the notes, we'll package them up, and we'll do an update to the candidate guide just so that your answers are available for everyone to see. And lastly, we have a channel in Slack, hashtag NAC-elections, where you can get on your soapbox and campaign, ask questions of the candidates, all that good stuff. So thank you so much for participating, everyone.
Goodbye.
Good luck, everyone, and we'll see y'all later. Don't forget to vote.